Holly did a great job presenting this case. I didn't have an additional PowerPoint of my own, as I believe hers was very sufficient. Looking at all of the requirements of the code, this application meets or exceeds any of those objective requirements. We exceed all the separation and setback requirements. We have determined that there's no available existing towers in the search ring of the applicant. The plans show up to 5 antennae being able to be co-located there. I do want to address the landscape buffering. The code only requires it if you're within 330 feet of a residence. Here we're over 680 feet, I believe. So while the landscape buffering is not required, the applicant is agreeable to the condition of maintaining that 30-foot vegetative buffer or putting in the landscape buffer that would be required if they were within 330 feet of a residence. But we also have the FAA approval, and as always, they will comply with any FCC regulations. But I understand that there are quite a few members of the community here who have some concerns. But if you have any questions of me right now, happy to address them. Otherwise, we can hear those concerns.
So just out of curiosity, so obviously you're here today for a special use permit, so it's not allowed by right.
Correct.
And is that the only reason? Correct. So what are the things that you're asking for above and beyond code?
We're not asking for anything above and beyond code. Okay. This is required.
I thought our code was 150 foot, not 190 something feet.
Right.
Is that not true?
140 or.
I just don't remember exactly what the number is. So, can you tell me the things that they're asking for that are
correct? So if it
additional.
exceeds 150 feet, right? So that's based on land use. So generally, we'd be looking for commercial. And 150 feet. So outside of those,
in order to have this thing by right, you would need it would be 150 foot or lower.
Correct.
And on a piece of commercial property.
Correct.
Otherwise, you need a special use permit. So those are the things that you're asking for above and beyond the code.
So it's my understanding that in situations like that, it's not by right, but it is by administrative approval. And outside of that, it's not administrative approval, but it would be through the special use permit.
Okay. Is that correct? Okay. Awesome. I just wanted to figure out exactly what we were talking about and deciding about. And by the way, still, on these towers, are they not all required just to have, if we do approve them, to have red lights instead of?
No.
Can we fix that, please?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the height of the tower is what then triggers the lighting to be necessary.
But if it has lighting, can we just make it sure that it's in our code that they all are red instead of white? Because the white blinking lights are ridiculous.
I can definitely look into that. I'm not sure. Yes, I will check into that and see if it's something that we can condition or not.
Most people agree to them if they come through the process, but I just want to make sure it should just be part of our code at this point.
If I may, it's my understanding that the lights would be required by the FAA, and they would determine what color it would have to be.
No,
I know
I don't think that's right, because we've changed them before. Okay. Otherwise. Tracy, you have a better.
Commissioner, I believe you're describing it correctly, that when the applicant either is required to put on a light or is putting on lights, they have acquiesced to the red unless they were being dictated by FAA to do something else.
Okay. So can we codify that?
Yes, sir, we can.
Thank you. All right. Commissioner Curry, you had a question?
Yeah. Can you go into the communication needs for this tower? Potentially how it would affect the school buses, the sheriff's department, fire, rescue, and so forth?
Yes, of course. As we know, in today's day and age, communication is generally done by cell phone. You don't see a lot of landlines nowadays. By and large, everything is done by cell phone. By having the additional area here, anything within this area is going to be able to have that communication. So while it's somewhat of a secluded area where the tower itself is, you can see that there's some development around that area that is not being served by any of the service here. This would allow anyone within those areas that have T-Mobile or any of the other 4 service providers who could co-locate there to be able to reach fire, get the emergency service notifications that the county sends out in the case of a different emergency. But yes, that would provide additional coverage for the folks up there in the north part of the county.
All right, any other questions for the
Yeah,
applicant?
I have a couple.
Commissioner?
Do you have a tenant?
T-Mobile, in the package there is agreed to, or is planning on being a tenant of this location. If
So they're the
Do they
anchor?
have a
they're
signed
the anchor. Yep.
agreement?
Correct.
And recently we traveled and we were taking a hike up a mountain, and there was a cell phone tower that you couldn't tell was a cell phone tower because it was made to look like a tree,
Like a palm, like a pine tree.
like a big pine tree. Do you have the ability to do that?
I'd have to look into that more. I do know in some situations those can stick out more because they look like.
This one did not.
I
It
understand.
blended right
Yeah.
in.
I doubt that would be the case. It does. They do stick out in big cities, especially when they're that tall, like when they go to 200 feet and stuff like that. But I had a feeling that if you put a tower, and whether it's this one or another one, if you put it in the middle of a pine forest and it looked like a pine forest, that might be better.
Yep. Understood.
Just saying.
But that isn't something that the engineers for this project had proposed, but it would absolutely be something that we could look into if needed.
That is the discussion we should have, Commissioner, because lots of communities are looking at that in certain areas. All right. Thank you. Was there anything else? I'm sorry. From the applicant
Not at this
side?
time.
Okay. Commissioners, any other questions for staff or the applicant? All right, let's move into public comment. I got a ton of folks signed up. If you're giving your time to somebody else or we're doing anything specific or you're waving in support, please just let me know as we go. Starting off with Vanessa Thomas and Linda Paget? Is that correct? If you guys could please come to the podiums. Everybody will get 2 minutes and give your name and address for the record. Paget, is that right? Come on.
Paget.
Sorry. What is it? Paget.
Good afternoon,
If I butcher
Commissioner.
your name, I am so sorry. And Louis Monaco will be on deck. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I am Vanessa Thomas. My address is 11788 Northeast 142nd Place, Fort McCoy, Florida. I am an 8th-generation Floridian, a 7th-generation Fort McCoy resident. My ancestors were in Florida long before we became a state in this very area. This is known as part of the Big Scrub. It was described very, very well by Marjorie Kennan Rawlings in her book, South Moon Under. Also in her Pulitzer Prize-winning book, The Yearling. This particular area is a historical, cultural resource. It is a shining example of folk life in that area and in this northeast region of Florida. When Marjorie Kennan Rawlings went to stay on the property right next door to this for a couple of months, her 2.5 month stay there is what brought to life her book South Moon Under and The Yearling. In fact, I think we've probably all read The Yearling, and Jody is one of the characters. He was a real-life person with a real-life deer in that area. The flashing bright red and white lights will certainly obliterate a beautiful skyline that appears at night. She many times described it, and in her book, she said that night entered the clearing from the scrub. The low tangled growth of young oak and pine and palmetto fell suddenly black and silent, seeming to move closer in one shadowy spring. The stars clustered about the chimney top like silver bees in the swarm. Red and white flashing lights are certainly going to obliterate that. I believe you're going to hear today that there is an application on file with the state of Florida. I have read it for designation of this property and the landscape as a historic, cultural, folk life area. And I did not see any recommendations or anything from staff with regard to its historic uses in that area.
All right. Thank you. Linda.
Yes, thank you for allowing this. Good afternoon. I have a very short presentation, and that is that I have family there. I've lived there for.
I just need your name and address for the clerk.
I've been in exactly that area pretty much 70 years. I'm 74, and so it's very important to me. It's I have family, many family that live there and that have ties to Marjorie Kennan Rawlings and her research into the books that she's written and personal experiences. If you'll look on the YouTube, you'll find Carol Laxton. She was a FIDIA before she was a Laxton, and she has personal YouTube videos and been interviewed and have met and had meetings here in Marion County discussing the history of that area. It's very important to this family and to the community there, and it's very concerning, this recommendation to have the tower there. And so you'll hear other things today, and I'm totally in agreement with the opposition of this tower. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. So, Madam Clerk, it's 14596 Northeast 113th Terrace. Yes, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, I will need you to give your name and address before you start, if you would.
Yes, I'm Louis Anthony Monaco, 14560 Northeast 215th Street, Fort McCoy, Florida, 32134. And Carl Zalek, you're in my district.
Yes, sir.
And I love our area, Hog Valley. I bought land out there at 16 acres, and I made it into the Sasquatch Wildlife Reserve. You can go out there and see Bigfoot. Well, this company has been bugging me for the last 10 years, and I've been saying no to a tower because I love our God and our country, and I love Hog Valley. And they don't live out there. I live out there. These people live out there. I don't want to see a tower with lights on it disturbing the wildlife and the nature. And that's why I said no to this tower on my property. We love our land. It's the land of the free and the home of the brave. It's all about the land. So I said no to the tower because of my land that I own. So I hope that you will not allow this tower to build. This is a wilderness area. No towers should be in the. That's what I told these people. I even got angry and I said to them, "If you do it on my property, I'll blow it up." if they did eminent domain. But I'm not that type of guy, and I believe in freedom of speech. And I've been trying to do preaching at the Florida rest areas. And they stopped me yesterday. They said, I need a permit to preach the gospel at the Florida rest area. And as an individual, I can't get that permit because I'm not an organization anyway. So I don't know if you can help me on that one. But I hope that this tower will not go up because we love our countryside. We live. They don't live there, so we live there. So for God and country, God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Monaco. Appreciate you. All right. Mr. Pageant and Tony Dutton on